What's up, guys? What's growing on? So we are at
Finca La Isla, and that's located here in Puerto Viejo de Talamanca, which is on the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica. We're almost to Panama.
Yeah,
all the way down.
We're pretty far down here. We've been driving all over this country, so we've got lots of cool stuff to show you guys. And what's really cool is we're at Peter Kring's place. This is a botanical garden, and they also make chocolate. So we're getting ready to go inside. We're going to film you all the chocolate making facility and process, and I think we're even getting a little tour around this place. So going to be epic.
So this is a chocolate kitchen.
This is a chocolate kitchen, yeah.
What do you think, Pete? How's it smell?
It smells unbelievable. It's too early for chocolate, but it smells good.
Never too early for chocolate.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Here comes the roast.
So do you ferment these beans, or do you just dry them out, air dry them, or?
No, the beans have to be fermented.
Yeah.
And they're picked and fermented for about a week. Basically, they're in a wooden box, and they get stirred 3 times, and we take the temperature of them, come up to like 45, 47 degrees centigrade, which is 105, 110. So it goes through, it's interesting, like the first 3 days of the fermentation are an alcohol fermentation, and then it becomes more of a vinegar fermentation. And you can smell it. It's in the acidic part of the fermentation where the temperature comes up. Once the temperature starts to go down from that, then you can think about finishing the fermentation. But you know, people tend to say ferment and dry. What we say is it's more of a curing process, and so we don't want to just finish the ferment and dry it as quickly as possible, because there's a bunch of acids that are left over from the vinegar, and if you dry it too quickly, then you'll seal the permeable skin of the cacao, and the acids won't be able to escape. So we do what a pre-dry, and so that's a very light, gentle beginning to the drying. So trying and get some of that acidity, undesirable acidity, out of there, and then we'll get drying a little bit faster. The drying takes about a week as well.
A week to dry.
Yeah.
And when you start to ferment, you're taking the entire. Do you squish the juice out of the fruit, or do you just kind of lay it out and let it go, or box it up, or bottle it up?
Okay, so you open the cacao pods, and inside are seeds surrounded by pulp with a placenta, and that gets spilled in just like it is into the box, removing the placenta. And but you don't want to remove the pulp or take away the juice. So the juice is good. The way to get the juice is not to get it at that point, but to have an untypically hygienic place that you're putting the cacao in. Your box is very clean, and you have a way to kind of funnel the juice out of there. And so in the first hours of the cacao is put in the box, a lot of juice runs off. This is excellent juice for drinking, for fermenting itself, to make like a beer, or I've distilled that as well. And yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. So we'll cut off banana leaves and put them in there too. The banana leaves are said to harbor some of the microorganisms that can kind of jumpstart the ferment.
That's interesting.
It depends on the temperatures and a lot of things, how long the fermentation takes.
Wow.
The beans, these are the beans that we just roasted, and now we need to break them, and so that we can clean them. There's a membrane surrounding the cocoa bean that needs to be removed.
Oh wow. That's the next step then. Okay.
Yeah. Small cacao bean. See, so there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but we get this to take this off by the hand like this is very tedious. So you could do this, but we don't. And basically, the practice is to break the cacao into smaller pieces, and then we winnow it. Sometimes we'll put it in front of a fan and just blow it away, like blowing chaff away. That's basically what it is.
Oh, wow.
But we've got a homemade winnower over there that works with a vacuum cleaner with a shop vac, and that separates the loose skins out.
Oh, we're starting a batch. Let's try that again. What do we got here?
So this is the raw cacao. It's ground up, but it's not roasted.
Oh, how was that? A little better?
It's powerful medicine, right?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting to try the difference.
It's gonna be buzzing for a while. That's a really nice aftertaste. I like the aftertaste. It's not. It doesn't.
It's gotta be really good. This is the toasted one. It's not milled so fine, but it shouldn't make any difference for trying it. Stick the finger in there.
And so this is the roasted one.
No, that's roasted nibs.
Nibs.
That we sell too.
So this is the cacao nibs. Let's see what it tastes like. Oh yeah, totally different.
Yeah, huh? Yeah. So the roasting is a tool that we have to to work with the flavor.
Yeah. It's definitely got a strong
And
toast flavor
if
there.
yeah, to some people, so you have to be careful. It's like roasting coffee. You know, some people like a heavy roast, and some people want a very light roast. And we're working with a light roast on this. But if the cacao is not really super good quality, then you can fool with it with roasting and techniques with the concher and stuff like that to improve the flavor. With the raw, you don't have those tools, and so it's more important that the cacao is really good quality. Yeah.
Interesting.
Get as much of this off this here as we can. Although we'll load the same machine.
Oh, reload it with material?
Yeah.
Okay. While it's dirty, just keep it going.
You know,
What's this machine called? What's this process
it's a
doing?
concher or a melanger.
A melanger?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's basically mills with in the bottom of it. There's a granite disc. It's about 1 inch thick, and then these granite wheels turn on top of that, and they can be, you can get more tension by tightening this thing down, and it gets down to about somewhere in the sweet spot of 18 to 25 microns. If it's like 40 microns, then it tastes grainy.
And you just test that by taste, or what?
You know, I have a micrometer to do it, but
you know now.
you know, you can tell even a little bit by looking at it, and but yeah, by taste. But I mostly, if I'm not sure about something, then I'll check it with the micrometer. This is about 2 kilos. It'll make around 60 bars of the 30 gram, a little over 1 ounce bars.
Wow.
And do you have this production going on all year, or do you have like a season for the cacao generally?
It goes on all year. This
All year.
There's a peak season, and it's pretty much now, despite poor weather.
But you can keep yourself busy in the chocolate business all year if you want
Yeah,
to.
definitely. There's a lot of local demand for it, and this area actually has the tourism that's here is not as seasonal as in some places like Guanacaste or something like, or Jaco even.
Yeah.
There's a shop in Jaco that buys chocolate to sell there, and but they don't do it all year. We have sales every week of the year.
Here.
We sell, yeah.
Wow.
Mostly we sell in a farmer's market.
So you're not even have to distribute internationally. You're able to keep all of this local.
Yeah, you know, people say, oh, you should be exporting and stuff, but we're not that ambitious. You know, we've got a lot of other stuff that we're doing as well, and There you can see what.
Oh, the granite at the bottom?
Yeah, the granite at the bottom.
That thing's got some weight to it.
Yeah.
I saw you put that pad on the bottom. Was it hot too?
It was,
a little warm?
It can be a little warm.
Okay. This is just a constant rotation to where you got the beans going, you're going to be making this, and constantly just, you ever get a couple days off?
So, you know, that then, during the high season, we'll run these 4 machines, sometimes 3 times a week.
Wow.
Low season, no, we're not doing that.
What are you doing in here?
Just having a sample.
What is this? What? What the beef? Oh, sorry. Well, does it approve?
Yeah.
It's
I think
okay?
we should stay here.
Is it edible?
It's incredible.
There's 2 lines of chocolate, and there's the conventional chocolate, which we're making now. This is a cardamom flavored chocolate, and there's like 6 or 7 flavors. There's dark chocolate. They're all dark chocolate except for one milk bar. It's a regular dairy milk bar. It's probably the only bar we make that's not vegan. And then there's a raw line, and these are they're a little bit more expensive and a lot of more complicated recipes. There's probably 15 or 18 different kinds of that chocolate that we have, and some of them are a pretty strong dark chocolate. Other ones have strong flavors like chili and stuff. Some of them are medicinal. There's a Coca-Cola bar, coca leaf and cola nut. There's also some layered bars that have got a layer of dark chocolate and then a layer of white chocolate. And the white chocolate on one is flavored with coffee, like a cappuccino. On another one, it's flavored with a ground up wild collected nut, mountain almond, and the other one is a vegan butterscotch. This is the most basic. Excuse the hands there. This is just 2 ingredients. The cacao we grow and organic cane sugar, nothing else. And then from there it all gets more complicated.
What's ripening? Was that edible?
Honey, if you're watching this, I'll bring you some.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth it.
Tempering is a
Dude, you said you temper the chocolate?
temper the chocolate. It's an organization of the structural cells. And so, without getting too deep into that, basically, if you don't temper the chocolate, then the chocolate is not stable. And with changes of temperature, you can get a separation of the cocoa butter and the cocoa solids. A cacao bean is about half cocoa butter. And when you get this separation, it oozes out of the bar, and then that'll get mold on it, and it's just not good. It's soft, so we temper it by controlling the temperature. There's 3 different ways to temper, and the classic way is to start at a temperature about 109, bring it down to 82, and then bring it back up to 88, and the chocolate should be tempered. And then you mold it. We're not doing that. We do seed or a silk tempering that works with seeding the chocolate with chocolate that's already been tempered, and so that causes the same temper, and the chocolate then is going to be shiny and have snap. If it's not tempered, it's going to be soft, and you can tell.
I was just gonna ask you. I see that you have this young cacao deity. Is there like a story behind like the local people? Or I see it says Maya here, but
yeah, it's not local. That's that is a copy of a Mayan god. This is kind of our altar here with some of the different things. This is a Mayan cacao god, and then this is represents the vanilla Totonac guy. This is a facsimile of a famous piece that was found that is with for chocolate, and there's the chocolate glyph.
That's
Here's
a cool
an
lid. It's
offering
like kind of an
thing.
interlocking
Yeah.
twist on lid.
That was found?
And then these are, yeah, but that's not the original.
Okay, that's a copy.
And then
of
these are also really like museum quality copies of drinking vessels from the Yucatan.
And they would make a drink with it, right? They made like a coffee or a cacao elixir or something. Is that correct?
That's traditionally. So the first people to make chocolate from cacao were the Olmec, and the Olmec are like the mother culture of Mesoamerica, of southern Mexico and northern Central America. That people say the Aztec calendar or the Mayan glyphs and stuff like that. The Olmecs invented all of that. They were the first ones, and they also invented making. There's like vessels that go back, I think, to 3500 BC, Olmec, from the Olmec area, that have residues of chocolate in them, and so chocolate. All along, all through these different cultures, from the Olmecs to the Mayans to the Aztecs, was always as a drink. Nobody made a chocolate bar, and there's a lot of different ways to prepare it, and a lot of different recipes and ingredients. And sometimes I go to Mexico and Guatemala and look for traditional flavors and incorporate them into my chocolate bars.
I saw you mixing that white stuff in. Is that just for the flavor of this bar?
That's for the tempering. That's a silk game. That was seeding the chocolate for to get it to temper.
Wow.
It's a specially tempered cocoa butter is what it is.
So how long has it taken you to get to the recipes that you're at now? Have you been on the same recipe for a while, or are you still developing?
We are. We've been making fine chocolate here for about 6 years. I've been here for more than 30 years, and I've always fooled around with cacao a little bit, and you can make an interesting tasting hot chocolate with very rustic, primitive chocolate, but we continue to come with new recipes all the time. Let's see here, that there, that there. Put these on here a little bit so that this doesn't get too cold. And this is not a traditional flavor. This bar that we're making right now is cardamom. Cardamom works really well with chocolate. It's especially good with coffee. Got somebody that buys this bar, puts a little square of it in the bottom of an espresso cup, and drinks that espresso coffee. And when they get to the end, there's the partly melted chocolate, kind of a little bit of a dessert thing to finish the coffee with. I've also gotten a flavor called Rosita de Cacao that we make a bar with, that we call the Olmec bar, and it's something that I found in Oaxaca. We're pretty much the Olmecs finished up with starting the big site there, Monte Alban. Rosita Cacao has got an interesting flavor. It's kind of like people taste maple, people taste coffee. it's pretty interesting. And so we took a chance on it and used it in the chocolate, and it's an excellent bar that won first prize in a competition at one of the chocolate festivals. I also took it to Seattle to the Northwest Chocolate Festival, and it was really well received there. We still make that. And I brought back seed of that tree, and I have it growing on our farm, and just the last couple of months we harvested our own rosita. It's an aromatic flower that we dry, and then put in the concher about halfway through the process.
So do you add anything else for sweetness?
Organic cane sugar. In the case of these bars, they're mostly 70-75% cacao. And this bar has it's 70%. Cardamom is kind of bitter, and so I made it as a 75%, and then made a 70% bar with vanilla. That's another thing that's in it, and it's just the vanilla is natural vanilla bean that gets cut up into small pieces and put right into the concher.
Alright, what's in this batch?
It's about 1.5 kilos of cacao, and a little bit over 1/4 kilo of sugar, and a vanilla bean, and 1.5 teaspoons of cardamom. So when the bars are tempered, they pop out real easy like this. If they're not, it's a struggle to get them out. The tempering, it kind of pulls back in on itself.
Yeah, once they get cold, they contract a little bit.
Yeah. We're using these trees with the bigger leaves are the Pitaste or Theobroma bicolor. This is a nitrogen fixer that lets in a lot more light. To work against the diseases that attack the cacao, they don't really attack the trees here, they attack the fruit. And a fungus starts on the fruit, makes spores that go from one fruit to the other. So the key to dealing with that is to have material that's resistant, and also to have more light and more air. You can see over here off of the ocean, the breeze comes in during the day, and then in the evening it comes out of the doors like this. And so we get good airflow here. We keep these trees low and open. I'm pruning these things all the time so that the air flows through them. It's not a lot of cacao to see right now. We've picked most of it's ripened and
It's a nice red
picked.
one, huh?
We cut out a lot of the traditional shade, and so replaced it with nitrogen fixers and these other, where you can see some ripe cacaos down there too.
Yeah, the yellow.
Some nice looking pods getting going here. Not so many, but there's cacao in here, and there's good light. It's a combination of new trees and fixing up older trees. So this is how the chocolate starts.
So this is step one of the making chocolate process, growing it, huh?
Yeah, so a lot of people are bean to bar, we're tree to bar, and this is the tree part of that.
Looks like you have several types of cacao here.
You know, yeah, it actually, just even with the old cacao that's called Matina cacao, cacao was grown here before the Europeans came. And then in about 1650, Europeans started the first commercial style plantations in Central America. And they started here in Costa Rica, and there was some in this area, more of them in an area between Limon and San Jose called Matina. And so that's the name for the traditional cacao here, is they say Matina. What happened is the Spanish came and introduced more kinds over a period of time. People eliminated ones that weren't doing very well. The banana companies that came like 130 years ago or so started growing bananas. They also got interested in cacao. They brought more material, but it was seed material. It's lately that people are planting clones. So there's programs in Costa Rica and other places to develop cacao that is very disease resistant, very productive, and hopefully good quality. The thing is quality and taste are subjective. Production statistics are not. And so academics that work with these programs tend to prioritize the production statistics. And so there's some, we have some of that cacao here, but we also favor the old cacao, the Matina cacao. And so I've selected some trees here and of that, and I graft them. Also, another thing that I do is go to farmers that work old cacao and say, show me your best tree. When you go around and you work these trees, pruning them all the time and harvesting, over a period of years, you begin to know each tree. And especially a tree that stands out as being particularly good. And so I'll make an exchange with some of my tree material or give them some chocolate bars or something and ask them if I can buy some of the science stock to graft that material. And I've never been refused. And so I plant that stuff here and see how it does in my place. It's an ongoing thing. I don't have a hybridization program. I have a program of collecting from the hundreds of thousands of trees that have been planted here, the material that seems to be the best to me.
So there's really an heirloom collection?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's, I mean, these trees, these larger trees like this, they're all heirloom trees. And the one that's right next to us. This is abandoned cacao. And when we bought our farm, everything was like this. And we still leave corridors like this. You can see there's a cacao fruit on there, but you won't get anything in here. This is what happened is the disease came, Monillia, and it attacks the fruit. The disease goes from one fruit to another. It's a hard thing to work with these old trees in an area like this. So up on the ridge there where we were, and working carefully, putting the effort into it, we get a decent harvest. But it's a lot of places like this that kind of stagnant in comparison.
I can feel the difference in the air.
Yeah, that makes the difference in getting production or not. There you see all those rotten cacaos on there.
All right, Peter, thank you for showing us around your awesome chocolate facility and the process over here. Appreciate your time. How can people find you? How can people eat this wonderful chocolate?
You know, the best way is to come to our farmers market. But you can find us on Facebook by the name of the chocolate.
That's right. I don't think we've looked at a label yet.
Talamanca chocolate. There's probably 25 different kinds of bars. There's conventional and there's a lot of raw bars.
Nice.
But we ship a little bit, but basically pretty much everything we do is very local oriented and local to Costa Rica, but even local to here. And most of the chocolate we sell at our farmers market. Is a small farmers market that's really worth visiting.
Okay. What farmers market is that?
It's the Puerto Viejo farmers market.
So please check out Peter's site. Actually, please come to Costa Rica. Like I said, flights are cheap. It's worth coming to visit. Everybody here is friendly. The food is good. The ocean is amazing. Check it out. Like, subscribe, share, pound dirt.